My first involvement with scouting, I grew up in a family with my mom and dad, and I had two older brothers who were at that time both involved in scouting program with Troop 2 in Salem. And I remember them taking me out to, at that time, Camp Twin Spruce, which is in Leesville, just south of Canton, which was one of the main camps along with McKinley down in Lisbon, and tagging along in kindergarten age, just in tow, checking out all the outdoor activities and stuff like that. And I was kind of a follower of both of them as I was growing up. They were very influential with me, and as a result, I couldn't wait to get my feet into the scouting program itself. My current roles in scouting are at the district level with Sandy Beaver. I am the Sandy Beaver District Day Camp Director, have been since 2010. I'm also a unit commissioner with Sandy Beaver District, and just signed on as a merit badge counselor within the last couple of weeks as well. I first started out in Cub Scouts back in 1973. At that time, you had to be 8 years old at the minimum age to come in, so I would have been in first or second grade. And joined Pack 2, which is also in Salem, which is the packs that my brothers have both gone through as well too. I stayed in the pack through the ranks all the way through to Webelos, got my Arrow of Light, and then gravitated into the Boy Scout troop, which is affiliated with the same church that the pack is sponsored through. Maintained my youth leadership, or made become my youth membership through there, and as a result ended up going through the Trail of Eagle all the way until my sophomore year of high school when I got my Eagle Award, and from that point forward stayed on through my graduation year in 1982 in what was called the Leadership Corps. Then I aged out and went on to college. I first came back into scouting as an adult when, like many parents that are involved in the scouting program, my son came home from first grade with a flyer in hand, advertising 3 open houses in and around the Salem area on a couple of nights during the week, and he was interested in going to that, so we went back to the same pack that still sponsors the organization, and got him enrolled in there. Met the district executive that night. We talked a little bit about my scouting background, and as a result I came out that evening as not only a den leader, but I also came out as the pack committee chair because they were looking for someone to take over at that level. I stayed in with the pack all the way through him moving into the Boy Scout troop, which would have been his, I guess that would have been his 6th grade. I stayed on as a den leader, stayed on as the pack committee chair, helped out in different roles as an assistant cub master for a couple of years in the interim when we were transitioning with different leaders. Once he moved into the Boy Scout troop, I kind of stayed on the Cub Scout side for a couple of years. At that time I had taken on the role as commissioner, so I kind of basically just went to the gravitated to the district level and stayed on at that capacity. As he got older, then he came on board as part of my day camp staff, and just enjoyed working with him and all the other boys and watching them develop from that age into the Boy Scouts into adulthood. Favorite scouting memories I actually have at different levels. As a youth in the scouting program, it was getting to work with the other kids. We were all friends basically at that time, getting together for meetings during the week at the Cub Scout level, getting to do some of the different outdoor activities. The year that I joined was also the very first year that it was the Columbiana Council at that time. They hosted their first annual day camp at Camp McKinley. My den mother was actually a co-chair for that, so she had us interested in going down to that, so we did that for a week. From that point forward then, going through the Boy Scout rank, just going camping on weekends. We didn't do quite as much camping as they do now. You were basically going to district events that were held 2 or 3 times a year, like the big events now. I know a lot of the troops do camping on a monthly basis. We didn't do that. My father at that time also came on board as a scoutmaster. He was active with my 2 brothers when they were in before they got their Eagle. So I got to work with him under his leadership as well too, through the troop. So I enjoyed that. And then from the adult side, I have one memory from day camp, which kind of is the reason I'm still, I think, involved in the program. It's a little bit of a story. Our second year of running day camp, which would have been in 2011, we had a pack that hadn't been to day camp in quite a few years that brought some kids down. There was one kid that was brought to our attention who was a behavioral issue inside the pack, and they thought getting him outdoors would do him some good, getting around kids his own age and being able to just be a boy in the outdoors. We had a couple of isolated issues the first day, and on the second day he was really having some fits because he wasn't doing as well at the fishing activity like the rest of them were. By day 3 he had caught a fish, and you saw a complete change in his demeanor from day 1 to day 3. He was excited about coming to camp. He didn't want to leave at the end of the day, and he was actually the first one to sign up for our next day camp in 2012 at that time. At the end of the week, I looked at my program director, Mrs. Hawkins, and we looked out across there, and he came up and he gave us a hug as he was getting ready to go to his car, and we looked at each other and said, this is why we do what we do. Yeah, from the time I was small, watching my brothers getting into the program, and they worked with me, of course, as I was going through it. My father was very involved as he was a scoutmaster. Then he also went on board as a unit commissioner for the district and stayed in that capacity for quite a while. My mother was always involved behind the scenes. She was a merit badge counselor. She worked on all different things with us and activities at home, from Cub Scouts all the way through, and was very integral in all three of us getting to the rank of Eagle. So it's always been a family function. To rely on teamwork. As a volunteer, anyone that's been a volunteer knows, sometimes it can all fall down on 1 or 2 people, and you get to rely on that small core of people around you to be productive in different things. One thing I'm impressed with this program in general is I don't know of anything I've ever been to at any function, whether I was a participant or I was in charge of running something, there is always that core of people that you can rely on to come to for teamwork. It's just amazing to me that when you mix all the combinations of expertise, years of service, different mindsets that people have, it only strengthens the foundation of the program more, and what you can actually do effectively by yourself is magnified at least 4 or 5 times by that same group of people working as a team. You even see that at the boy level. Anybody that's been involved in youth sports, it's the same thing. You teach that as a coach to them, gravitates up to the adult level, and it just makes the program that much stronger. I'm not a person who has a lot of emotion and reacts very well. It completely caught me off guard when I got the announcement. I didn't really know what to say at first, and then the more I thought about it, I went back in time, and to get to the level as a leader and to do the things I'm doing at the district level, I've been around some very, very integral and influential people over the years that were scout leaders. They were merit badge counselors to me. I've worked on camp staffs with them. These guys are not only pillars of the community, they are like walking scout books or handbooks, as I say. To be able to sit on committees with these people years later that, again, were influential with me as a youth, it's an honor to sit at a table with them. My father received the Silver Beaver with the Columbiana Council Shawnee District back in 1982, and many after him were all friends. I've gotten to see them get their Silver Beavers over the years. It's very humbling, but it's also an honor to be mentioned in the same list of people that I see on the wall at Camp McKinley that have gotten it from our district, as well as some of the people I've met through Buckeye Council that are Silver Beaver recipients or headed in that direction. It's just an amazing organization, and I can't speak enough of it. I'm just truly flattered and honored. Other advice for scouting volunteers is never be afraid to step up when asked. Never be afraid to offer without being asked. Volunteer your time. The amount of time that you put into the program, the hour a week that we're all promised when we actually take on our roles as leaders, always turns into more than that, obviously. But when you go back in time and you see boys that started out at the Cub Scout level that are now Eagle Scouts or getting their Eagle, moving on to college or moving on into the workforce, to know that you've been part of that is, it's very heartwarming for one, but to know that you could have been a mentor to someone like that just because you were selfless enough to give your time for a meeting during the week or to host an event, to work on staff at a camp, whatever the case may be. It's very rewarding, and there's no way that you can replace that with anything else. To be able to make the difference in not the life of just one child, but to maybe make a difference to a lot of other children and youth as they're growing up. We have a saying at day camp, we basically become like adoptive parents for an entire week, once a year. It's a great feeling. I can't imagine missing out on this. I'm grateful for my son for bringing that flyer home back in 2007 when he did, and getting back into the program, because I had that hiatus from the time I got my Eagle and went on to college until I got back into the program. And never look back. You'll never regret it.